Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about 6 major behaviors that tend to scare away fearful avoidance, especially during the dating stage of relationships. So if you're not already familiar, we have 6 major stages of a relationship. And the first stage is the dating stage of a relationship, followed by the honeymoon stage, power struggle stage that cannot be avoided, the stability stage, then the commitment, and eventually bliss stage, which is sort of the stage you want to get to because it's like the honeymoon stage, except with a lot more understanding of each other, having worked through a lot more things together, understanding each other's inner worlds better and needs, and having good, harmonious strategies to meet these needs. So in the dating stage, which is obviously just the first stage of a relationship, which is really about the process of like getting to know somebody. You're like learning about them, trying to understand if we're a good fit for each other. It's like all about vetting somebody else and vice versa. There tend to be things that really put people off, and there are general ones, but then there are ones that are really specific to each attachment style. And this is the fearful avoidance segment of this. If you want to check out the other ones with the different attachment styles, we'll do a little series on this. So the first major thing is a sense of entitlement. And this sense of entitlement on a date with a fearful avoidant not only feels like a threat to emotional connection because it means that somebody's like expecting something and not like bonding and not necessarily present with like the person. This isn't just a violation to emotional connection, but also because fearful avoidants put so much pressure on themselves and expect so much of themselves. When they feel like somebody feels entitled, it really sets off and triggers those like, I'm afraid you're going to try to take advantage of me core wounds, because fearful avoidants often have a big wound around feeling taken advantage of and betrayed, right? They sort of go hand in hand, but specifically the taken advantage of version of this here. And so entitlement, expectation, advantageous behaviors as a whole can be things that like massively put off a fearful avoidant and make them feel in the dating stage like they want to run. Number 2 is a sense of untrustworthiness. So these two sort of go hand in hand, but this can be because you're caught lying. This can be because you have a history of cheating in past relationships. This can be, for all sorts of things like that, where there's a sense of like, I don't know if I can trust you. And fearful avoidance, that can be something that makes them go so cold so fast, where they really just shut down and protect themselves so strongly that if they sort of catch wind of things like that early on, these will be things that massively frighten an FA off. And again, like, it doesn't mean that you have to be perfect in these areas. Like, let's say you have cheated in a past relationship and you've done the work and you've like worked on these patterns and habits within yourself and understood why that happened. And you can communicate that. It doesn't mean that these are like, because you had a history of cheating ever, that you'll never get in a relationship with an FA or that they're for sure never going to want to be with you. It just means like you have to be not cautious, but like mindful about how you communicate these things, and know that this is going to be a pain point or trigger point, and share your side and communicate about, where you're at and what's gone on. So don't think that this is like, if this is you, or if you ever acted entitled for a snapshot in time by accident, that like it's over. Just know that these things are there and do the work. And it's also a good place for fearful avoidance to do the work on these things. If you see that you've got an extreme polarity of this, like you see somebody and you think they lied once, maybe about something small, and you see yourself running away, hey, like those are things to communicate through. Those are things to work on, right? And red flags to address directly. And then if you decide, okay, there's still a really big red flag, it wasn't just a miscommunication, then of course you're entitled to leave any situation that doesn't feel good for you. But just to be mindful about how extreme these patterns can be in certain cases as well. Number 3 is trying to make someone jealous. So if you see yourself, let's say you're not getting the attention you need from a fearful avoidant, let's say you're not getting your needs met, and rather than communicating that directly, you try to get a reaction from them by making them jealous, by flirting with somebody else, by talking about somebody else in front of them in a romantic way or whatever it might be. Wrong move. Not going to go well for a fearful avoidant the vast majority of the time. Again, these are things that make them really shut down because it's sort of like a trauma point for them. So they go into like extreme coping measures, which will usually be extreme avoidant tendencies, like really push away. So that can be a huge thing also to be mindful of. By the way, if you want to do a way deeper dive into this, we still have 3 other points in here, but if you want to do a way deeper dive into this, we have the Advanced Fearful Avoidant Attachment Style course. It has like the roadmap. It's like the blueprint for like all the things they're going to see, feel, experience in each of the 6 stages of dating and relationships, and what to be mindful of, what you can reprogram, what to communicate through. It's like the handbook for moving through any potential problems. And we have these for all different attachment styles. So you can check those out for free for 7 days by clicking the link in the description box below if you want to go a little bit deeper. Now, our next major point is treating them like they're perfect. Fearful avoidants don't really like to be put on a pedestal. They like to, and I've seen this, they like to feel like wanted, valued, important. Like they want to feel like the person really cares and wants to make an effort. But if they feel like they're being put on this big pedestal again, it's like this threat to emotional connection. It's like, wait, you're not connecting with me as an equal person. Like, I want you to be on the same page. I want to feel like partnered in somebody I'm dating or seeing. I want to feel like we're in the same like league here, connecting, like we can do stuff together as a unit, not as like me being over here on some pedestal and you being over there, from the frame of reference from how you communicate about yourself to the fearful avoidant. Not that that's like actually how it is, but just like that's, fearful avoidants do not like to feel like that, especially as time goes on, I find. Our next major thing is feeling like there is a lot of pressure, especially as it relates to frequency of communication or moving very quickly in the dating stage. FAs still like to take things slow in the dating stage. They're sort of like slower to open up and really be themselves because they tend to associate emotionally that relationships are like difficult, hard, a lot of commitment, often end in pain. And it's not because it has to be that way. It's because their fearful avoidant attachment style has often experienced traumas around relationships and relating to other people. And so it's what they come to expect at a subconscious level. And so, these things can be reprogrammed, of course, but because those things tend to exist, they usually do not like to feel like, hey, we're rushing into something really quick, especially around the commitment part. Spending time together can be pretty okay. Texting a decent amount can be okay. If it's too extreme, it will put an FA off. But when it's like, hey, let's get into a romantic relationship, let's like make a commitment, the big commitments in life, I find fearful avoidants tend to be a little bit slower moving around. And our very last one is a lack of consideration. This can be of them, of their time, of their effort, of their boundaries, of their energy. But it can also be a lack of consideration of other people. I find that FAs don't like to see others, put others down, take advantage of other people, being considerate to other people. It can even be like a waiter or waitress at a restaurant, right? It can be like you are there and you're rude to somebody. It tends to often not sit well with a fearful avoidant because they're sort of, hypervigilant and figuring out who you are as a person in the dating stage and all the different things to be aware of. So, all the ways you might treat other people and what that means about you. And you can be a little hypervigilant about that stuff early on. So anyways, I hope this all makes a lot of sense. Again, if you want to do a deeper dive for free for 7 days, check out those courses. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member of the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video.